if you're willing to share more advice, this is kind of a selfish question. If I were to ask you, can you give advice on living just a good life? Like, you're such a joyful person. You've accomplished so much, which some might think you might be like, I don't think you consider yourself like a type A type person or whatever, but you've accomplished a lot, but you balance it with such humility and kindness and love. And I'm just kind of curious, like, if you were to say, give me advice or the audience advice, how do you live a joyful, good life? Do you have anything to say about that?
Well, I will try to share something that maybe is helpful. But I did think of something that I wanted to share just about that humbleness that a lot of herbalists exhibit, and it's because we bow always to the earth. Like, you're always leaning down. We do reach up too to the heavens, but the whole act, the symbolism of reaching down, is of service. You know, you're reaching down to harvest, to pick, to create medicines, to serve your family and your community and others. So there is a certain, if you really are paying attention to what your body is doing as you kneel to the earth, it is a very humbling, and it's also humbling to feel that the plants are working through you, that you've actually been called to do this, you know, so there's that. But I want to say that practicing joy and how to live a joyful life, it's a practice, you know. I've had so much sorrow in my life these last 3 years, and I've had the opportunity to use the tools that I've been trying to cultivate my whole life, right? So it's a practice. I don't think, I had a good teacher. My mother was a fabulous teacher. She was a joyful, loving, kind person, and her life was also extremely hard. She was a survivor of the Armenian genocide, so not easy beginning for my mom. But she was really, truly one of the most delightful, funny, loving human beings. So I had a good teacher of how to do that. But it's a practice. You put into practice, like, you greet the day. You greet it with joy. You think about what makes you feel happy, and you try to put that out to others. I would say for most people, not all people, but for most people, we are able to practice joyfulness when we find our service. If we find a purpose, like living a purposeful life. And it doesn't have to be grand. Your purpose can be, you know, growing a beautiful garden that your neighbors drive by. I'm not saying that's not grand.
Sure.
I'm just saying that sometimes people look at that as not being grand. I think that's grand when I drive by people's yards and their yards are beautiful. You know, the way that impacts me to bring joy into my world. So that person is living a purposeful life. So I think that has a lot to do, but it's a practice, you know. And I really, as I said, the last 3 years when I was in recovery, I'll always be the rest of my life in recovery from the loss of my son and my grandson, my only son and my only grandson, and my mom, all at the same time. You know, I really had the opportunity to put into practice, like, I did not want to be a depressed person. I could easily have been depressed. I did not want to live my life in sadness. I'm always sad, but I also wanted to lift it up and to let the light shine on that sadness. So it's just a practice of how to do that. And a lot of it is, I think, is through kindness. People's kindness to one another allows me to be kind back. So practicing kindness is really good. Practicing joy is really good. Being grateful for everything that we have is good. I don't know if I'm making sense.
You are. I love that. I love that you're emphasizing that it's a practice.
It's a practice,
you know, like,
it really
it's not,
is.
you're just not innately gifted with, oh, I'm Rosemary Gladstar. I'm, you know, just this delightful person. That you every day practice it and you get better at it. And then you were able to build that resilience for when you do go through the hard times, which I'm very sorry for all that you've been through. And then you've been able to, just navigate and lift other people up and show them your love and everything. And me and my daughter do a practice every night. It's called Grateful For, which just happens to be 4 things we're grateful for. Because we used to do 3 things we're grateful for. But we found ourselves, we'd always started with, I'm grateful for you. So then we had like 3 more. Now it's you and Amanda. We say Amanda.
I love that.
So every night we're trying to practice our gratitude. And I do feel like at the end of the day, it's nice to kind of remind ourselves that there is so much to be grateful for, even though the world is incredibly difficult at times. So
yeah, that's so beautiful. And Yeah, I think about this too, when I'm with a group of friends and all we're doing is grumbling about everything. And I find this agitation start in
Yeah.
me. My husband will do that
Sure.
a lot. He agitates me. No, he'll listen to the news and then he gets very agitated, and then I get agitated, not at
Yeah.
him, and then I feel how that feels to me. You
Sure.
just sit and think, how does that feel? And it feels exactly like how I don't want to feel.
Yeah.
So I want to be conscious of what's going on in the world, but I also want to. There is so much to be, if we're alive, even just that is something to be grateful for, right? Every day that we have. So I can always give thanks that I have one more day to be alive on this planet, this incredibly gorgeous place. What an honor,
Yeah.
what an honor to be alive at this time when there's so much work to be done that all of us could be useful.
That's right.
So, yeah.